Everything was routine on the flight until a flight attendant unexpectedly scolded a young boy. The other passengers were stunned, but what unfolded next was something no one could have foreseen. Within 10 minutes, the attendant was dismissed in front of everyone. What led to such an extreme outcome? Stick around to uncover the full story. Before diving in, let us know in the comments where you're tuning in from today. If you find this story interesting, don't forget to subscribe for more unique content like this. The airplane cabin hummed with the usual bustle before takeoff. Passengers were finding their seats, stowing their belongings, and settling in for the journey ahead. Among them was a bright-eyed boy named Liam, sitting eagerly by the window beside his mother, Sophia. For Liam, this was a dream come true, his very first flight. "Mom, how do planes stay in the air? Are we really going to fly through the clouds? What do they feel like?" Liam's enthusiasm was contagious, and Sophia couldn't help but smile as she answered his endless questions. She had worked extra hours for months to afford this trip, wanting to create a memorable experience for her son. Liam, dressed in his favorite superhero shirt, clutched his backpack filled with carefully chosen items: a snack, a comic book, and a small toy car. Sophia, wearing a comfortable sweater and jeans, looked both excited and relieved. This trip was a break they desperately needed after a tough year. As Liam leaned slightly into the aisle to catch a glimpse of the busy cabin, a flight attendant named Ellen Davis passed by. Ellen, a seasoned crew member in her early 50s, was known for her strict demeanor. Her perfectly pressed uniform and tightly pinned hair reflected her meticulous nature. Spotting Liam leaning out of his seat, her expression darkened. "Young man, sit back properly," Ellen said in a loud, sharp tone that made heads turn. Liam quickly retreated, his excitement replaced by confusion. Sophia immediately tried to smooth things over. "I'm sorry, ma'am," she said politely. "He's just excited. It's his first flight." Ellen's gaze shifted to Sophia, her tone still harsh. "That's no excuse. This is an aircraft, not a playground," she snapped, loud enough for nearby passengers to hear. An uncomfortable silence fell over the aisle as Sophia's cheeks flushed with embarrassment. She placed a reassuring hand on Liam's shoulder and said, "It won't happen again." Ellen muttered something under her breath as she walked away briskly. The moment left Sophia feeling uneasy, while Liam's earlier joy faded. "Did I do something wrong, Mom?" he asked softly, his big eyes glancing up at her. "No, sweetheart," Sophia said, her voice gentle but firm. "You didn't do anything wrong." Unbeknownst to Ellen, the interaction had caught the attention of a man seated a few rows ahead. Daniel Carter, a senior manager for the airline, was on board to evaluate the crew's performance as part of a routine check. Dressed in a crisp suit, Daniel had been quietly working on his laptop until Ellen's raised voice drew his attention. He observed her behavior carefully, noting the passenger's discomfort. Closing his laptop, Daniel adjusted his jacket and rose from his seat. He made his way toward the galley, where Ellen was arranging the drink cart. Clearing his throat to announce his presence, he caught her by surprise. She turned to face him, her expression momentarily startled before she composed herself. "Excuse me," Daniel began, his tone calm but commanding. "Could we have a quick conversation about what just happened?" Ellen blinked, her expression shifting to cautious defensiveness. "Is there an issue, sir?" she asked, her earlier confidence noticeably shaken. "Yes, there is," Daniel replied evenly, keeping his voice low to avoid drawing too much attention. "I observed your interaction with that child and his mother, and frankly, it came across as unnecessary and unprofessional." Ellen's posture stiffened, her hands gripping the edge of the cart. "I was simply enforcing the rules, sir. It's important that children follow proper safety guidelines, especially during takeoff." Daniel nodded slightly, his gaze unwavering. "Safety is non-negotiable, but how you communicate with passengers is equally important. From what I saw, that child wasn't causing any disruption, and your tone was unacceptable." Ellen's face flushed. "I wasn't trying to be rude. I was just—" Daniel held up a hand, his tone firm but composed. "Let's be honest, Ellen. I've worked in this field long enough to know when something goes beyond protocol. Ask yourself, would you have reacted the same way if it were someone else in that seat?" Ellen's mouth opened as if to respond, but no words came out. Her knuckles whitened as she gripped the cart. "I'm not sure what you mean," she murmured, her voice shaky. "I think you do," Daniel said, his tone unyielding. "For now, I need you to stay professional and avoid any further interaction with that family. Is that clear?" Ellen swallowed hard and gave a curt nod. Understood. Satisfied, Daniel turned to walk back toward his seat. As he passed Sophia and Liam, he paused momentarily and gave Sophia a reassuring nod. Sophia, still unsure who he was, returned the gesture with a faint smile, silently thankful for his intervention. Passengers nearby exchanged quiet murmurs, sensing that something significant had just transpired. Ellen continued with her tasks, though her movements were tense and deliberate. Her earlier confidence had faded, replaced by visible discomfort. In first class, Daniel discreetly opened his phone and sent an email to the airline's operations team, requesting a review of Ellen's personnel file. He wasn't quick to judge, but his instincts told him this incident was part of a larger issue. As the plane climbed to cruising altitude, Ellen kept her interactions minimal, avoiding passengers' eyes. Meanwhile, Liam quietly worked on a sketch of an airplane soaring through fluffy clouds. Sophia tried to focus on comforting him, her own unease lingering from the earlier confrontation. When Daniel's phone pinged with a response, he glanced at the detailed report that had been sent. It confirmed what he suspected. Ellen had a troubling record of prior complaints, including repeated instances of inappropriate behavior toward passengers. Daniel's lips pressed into a thin line. This wasn't an isolated lapse. It was a pattern that needed to be addressed. As the plane began its descent, the captain's voice echoed over the intercom. "Ladies and gentlemen, we're addressing an onboard matter and appreciate your understanding. Thank you for your cooperation." Passengers exchanged puzzled looks, whispering speculations about the announcement. Sophia felt a nervous knot in her stomach as she realized the matter likely involved Ellen. When the plane landed and passengers began to deboard, Daniel approached Ellen in the galley, where she stood with a pale expression. "Ellen," he said evenly, "I need you to step aside and meet with me and the captain before leaving the aircraft. We need to address this matter immediately." Ellen's throat tightened, but she nodded, her usual composure replaced by a look of unease. As the last passengers exited, Ellen noticed an airline HR representative and security personnel waiting just outside the gate. Her stomach sank as the full gravity of the situation hit her. In a private room at the terminal, Ellen sat quietly as the HR team outlined the evidence and complaints against her. The weight of her actions began to sink in. For Sophia and Liam, the tense chapter finally closed as they walked through the terminal, eager to move past the unpleasant experience. For Daniel, the incident was more than just a single flight disturbance. It highlighted the need for stronger accountability and better standards within the airline. He resolved to push for systemic changes, knowing that every passenger deserved to feel respected and valued. The events of the flight served as a reminder of the power of accountability and kindness in unexpected moments. For Sophia and Liam, what began as an exciting adventure turned into a lesson in resilience and the importance of standing tall in the face of adversity. Daniel's quiet intervention not only protected their dignity, but also ignited a meaningful shift within the airline's culture, ensuring every passenger's voice would be heard. As the airplane taxied away, passengers disembarked with a sense of closure, some even inspired by the outcome. Ellen's actions finally caught up to her, and while the consequences were steep, they offered an opportunity for reflection and growth. This story wasn't just about a single flight. It was a testament to how small acts of courage and fairness can ripple outward, making travel not just a journey, but a shared human experience worth valuing.